one more thing that we never learn apart from trust, like how to trust. And more young people now, because they're losing trust because of information overload and all these things that we talked about, that we're not even becoming the person. One thing which is also bothering is we never even learn how to sit with ourselves. How to be idle, how to be bored. So we don't reflect, and that's why we don't even think that how to become a better person. What do you think happens with an entire generation when the generation doesn't really learns to sit alone? They're just constantly stimulated.
So it's like when you bake bread, you have to let it prove, you have to let it rise, you have to just let it be. You can't just mix the ingredients in a bowl, knead the dough and throw it in the oven. You have to let the yeast rise. And I think we undervalue boredom, but it's partially because we've over-indexed on making, we care about productivity too much. We all think that you're doing well if you're productive and you're not doing well if you're unproductive. I used to wake up on a weekend at like 8 or 8:30 in the morning and then sit in bed till noon. I would just like read the newspaper, do a crossword puzzle, send a few texts. And like people get mad at me. They're like, how can you just waste your day like that? I was like, first of all, it's my day. I can do whatever I want. And second of all, maybe that time alone where I'm not engaging and just getting to do things that my brain enjoys, like the crossword puzzle or listening to music. I would sit in bed and just listen to music. Maybe that's good for me. Maybe that makes me healthier. Like just because I'm not productive, the story of the two lumberjacks. Every morning they both start cutting wood at the same time. Every day they stop cutting wood at the same time. And every day in the middle of the day, one lumberjack disappears for an hour. And every day that lumberjack cuts more wood than the other one. And so one day, after months of this, the lumberjack who works all day, he says, I have to ask you, every day we start work at the same time. Every day we stop work at the same time. Every day you disappear for 1 hour in the middle of the day. And every day you cut more wood than me. Where do you go for that hour? And the other lumberjack looks up and goes, oh, I go home and sharpen my axe. And so working all the time doesn't necessarily make you more productive. Taking breaks and sharpening your axe makes you more productive. And we don't allow our minds to wander because of constant engagement. And we know, like anybody who's ever had an idea, you rarely have the idea in the brainstorming session. Usually the brainstorming session is valuable for posing the question or presenting the challenge. But we usually have our best ideas in the shower. Or when we go for a run, or when we're sitting in the car driving to work, or we're sitting on the bus and we're just looking out the window, and all of a sudden you're like, I have it. And you come to work and be like, I have it, right? Well, what's going on there? And it's because our rational brains, our rational brains, our conscious brains have access to the equivalent of about 2 feet of information around us. This is the part of the brain we access when we access our expertise. We weigh the pros and cons. We think about the problem, all the stuff we do in the brainstorming session. But our subconscious brains have access to the equivalent of something like 11 acres of information. Every question, every movie, every book gets stored somewhere. Yeah. But you can't consciously access that part of the brain. So when you allow your brain to just ruminate, now, it won't ruminate about anything. It'll only ruminate about challenges or opportunities or questions that are right in front of you. But when you allow your brain to ruminate, it finds connections that your thinking brain doesn't. And so standing in the shower is you can't be on your phone. That's why you're having an idea. When you're driving, you can't be on your phone. You shouldn't be on your phone. That's why you have an idea. Your mind just wanders. And so the idea of doing nothing, we seem to be afraid of lack of productivity and lack of boredom. In reality, what we're doing is we're allowing our minds to wander. And I carve out time for this. I'll go for a walk without my phone. I'll go to a museum. I'll put my phone in airplane mode and I'll just walk around and look at art. Now, it doesn't always happen that I solve a problem, but I'm increasing the likelihood. So one of the ways I have ideas is I build in what you would call boredom. Time to do things that are engaging or disengaging in different ways, listening to music. So, I think we undervalue boredom as a source of ideas.
There was a research in 2014 that people were asked to sit alone and sit idle. And about 67% people said that they'll rather have electric shocks than to be sitting alone.
That's funny.